Small habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Just as money multiplies through compound interest, the effects of your habits multiply as you repeat them over time. They may seem insignificant on any given day, but over months and years, they can lead to extraordinary results. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you want to become. The more consistently you perform an action, the more you reinforce the identity associated with that behavior. Lasting change does not come from making big shifts all at once. It comes from small, consistent habits performed daily. James Clear calls these small habits atomic habits. The word atomic refers to both the tiny nature of these habits and their potential power. Just like atoms are the building blocks of molecules, atomic habits are the building blocks of remarkable change. These habits are easy to do, but also easy to ignore. That's why consistency is the most important factor. A 1% improvement each day seems trivial, but over time, those gains compound into a significant advantage. Clear emphasizes the importance of focusing on systems rather than goals. Goals are the outcomes you want to achieve, like losing weight, writing a book, or becoming fluent in a language. Systems are the processes and habits that lead to those results. If you focus on the system, the outcomes will follow. Winners and losers often have the same goals. What separates them is the quality of their systems. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Instead of focusing on what you want to achieve, focus on who you want to become. True behavior change is identity change. There are 3 layers of behavior change: outcomes, processes, and identity. Outcomes are about what you get. Processes are about what you do. Identity is about what you believe. The deepest layer is identity. Most people start with outcomes and work backward, but the key to lasting change is to start with identity. When you build habits based on who you want to become, those habits stick because they align with your sense of self. To change your identity, you must prove it to yourself through small wins. Every habit you perform is a vote for the type of person you want to be. Want to become a writer? Write something every day. Want to become fit? Work out consistently. The more votes you cast for a desired identity, the more solid that identity becomes. Eventually, you'll start to think, I'm the kind of person who does this, and that belief will drive future behavior. Clear introduces the 4 laws of behavior change as a simple framework for building better habits. These laws are: make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying. If you want to break a bad habit, you do the inverse. Make it invisible, make it unattractive, make it difficult, and make it unsatisfying. To make a habit obvious, start by becoming aware of your current habits. One tool is the habit scorecard, where you list your daily habits and evaluate whether they're helping or harming your goals. Awareness is the first step to change. Once you've identified your desired habit, use implementation intentions to make your plan specific. Rather than saying, I'll work out this week, say, I'll go to the gym at 5 p.m. on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. The formula is simple. I will behavior at time, in location. Another powerful strategy is habit stacking. You link a new habit to an existing one using the formula. After current habit, I will new habit. For example, after I brush my teeth, I will meditate for 1 minute. The existing habit acts as a cue for the new one. Your environment plays a critical role in habit formation. Small changes in your surroundings can have a huge impact. If you want to eat healthier, leave fruit on the counter and hide the junk food. If you want to read more, put a book on your pillow. Make the cues for good habits visible and obvious. Reshape your environment so it supports the habits you want to build and makes the ones you want to break harder to access. The second law of behavior change is to make it attractive. The more appealing a habit is, the more likely you are to stick with it. One way to do this is through temptation bundling, pairing something you need to do with something you want to do. For example, You might only watch your favorite show while exercising. That way, you associate the new habit with a positive experience, increasing your desire to perform it. Another powerful influence is social norms. We tend to adopt the habits of the people around us. We imitate the behavior of the close, the many, and the powerful. If you want to build better habits, surround yourself with people who already do the things you want to do. Join a fitness class, a book club, or a professional group where your desired habits are the standard. The third law is to make it easy. Human behavior follows the law of least effort. We naturally gravitate toward the option that requires the least amount of work. The more friction there is between you and a habit, the less likely you are to do it. Reduce friction for good habits and increase it for bad ones. The 2-minute rule is one of the most effective ways to make habits easy. The idea is to downscale any habit to a version that takes 2 minutes or less. Want to run every day? Start with putting on your running shoes. Want to study more? Open your book and read one sentence. These gateway habits are simple, but they help you get started. Once you're in motion, it's easier to keep going. Make your environment work for you by priming it for the behaviors you want. If you want to journal, leave your notebook on your bed. If you want to practice guitar, keep it out of the case and on a stand. Design spaces that naturally lead to your desired actions. The fourth law is to make it satisfying. Immediate rewards help reinforce habits. Our brains are wired to prefer instant gratification, so if a habit feels good in the moment, we're more likely to repeat it. Use reinforcement by giving yourself a small reward immediately after completing a habit. After you finish your workout, enjoy a protein shake or a few minutes of relaxation. Habit tracking is another way to make habits satisfying. Use a calendar, notebook, or app to track your progress. Every time you perform a habit, mark it off. The visual cue of a growing streak is motivating and satisfying. It creates a sense of momentum and progress. Don't break the chain. Try to keep your streak alive. And if you do miss a day, never miss twice. Missing once is an accident. Missing twice is the beginning of a new habit in the wrong direction. To break a bad habit, invert the 4 laws. Make the cue invisible by removing it from your environment. Make the craving unattractive by highlighting the benefits of avoiding the habit. Make the response difficult by increasing friction, and make the reward unsatisfying by introducing a cost or consequence. You can even create a habit contract, an agreement with someone else that sets a consequence for failure. For example, if you miss a workout, you owe your friend money. The social pressure and potential loss add a layer of accountability that reinforces your commitment. Change is not always immediately noticeable. Clear calls this the plateau of latent potential. You're working hard, but results don't appear right away. Just like ice doesn't melt until it hits 32 degrees, habits may not yield visible progress until a critical threshold is crossed. This is where most people give up. But breakthroughs come from persistence. Habits are not a finish line to cross, but a lifestyle to live. Outcomes are a lagging measure of your habits. Your bank account is a lagging measure of your financial habits. Your health is a lagging measure of your eating and exercise habits. Your knowledge is a lagging measure of your learning habits. Focus on the daily habits that lead to those results, and the outcomes will follow naturally. The process of habit formation is not linear. Some days are harder than others. That's why consistency matters more than perfection. It's not about never missing a day. It's about showing up again and again, even when it's hard. Mastery is the result of habit. James Clear also explores the role of genetics and natural abilities. While some people are predisposed to succeed in certain areas, success still comes down to choosing the right habits and sticking to them. Work with your strengths. If you're naturally energetic, physical habits may be easier for you. If you love reading, lean into intellectual habits. Align your habits with your personality and your environment to increase your chances of success. Sustaining. Habits over the long term require staying in the Goldilocks zone, a balance of challenge and skill. Habits that are too easy become boring. Habits that are too hard lead to burnout. The sweet spot is when a task is just hard enough to push you, but not so hard that it overwhelms you. This is how to stay motivated and continue growing. Even good habits can have downsides. When a habit becomes automatic, you may stop improving. You may become complacent. That's why Clear recommends continuous reflection and refinement. Regularly review your habits and ask, is this still serving me? Is this moving me toward the person I want to become? The ultimate purpose of habits is not to have better habits. It's to become a better version of yourself. Identity is the engine that drives behavior. Every habit is a vote for the person you want to become. Decide the person you want to be and prove it with small, consistent actions. In the end, it's not about achieving goals. It's about living a life of purpose, built on systems that support who you truly are. The process is simple, but not easy. Make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, make it satisfying. Focus on your systems. Embrace identity change.